Imagine a teaching that questions the very idea of God. A tradition that asserts that the path to enlightenment does not lie in the hands of an external force or miraculous intervention, but within the individual, in their heart and mind. This is precisely the approach offered by Buddhism, and it is this approach that has sparked heated debate and misunderstanding for centuries. Why don't Buddhists believe in God? In the familiar sense that millions of people around the world understand it. To answer this question, let's go deeper into the very essence of Buddha's philosophy. But first, it is important to understand that this is not an attempt to destroy someone else's faith or impose one's own worldview.
Buddhism has never been a religion that demands blind obedience or unconditional worship. On the contrary, it is based on freedom of inquiry and questioning even one's own dogmas. Therefore, you can be a deeply religious person, a skeptic, or simply someone searching for answers. Buddhist wisdom can still provide you with useful keys to inner understanding. What is God in the usual sense? When we say the word God, we most often mean an omnipotent creator, an omniscient ruler who controls the universe. This is the image of a judge and creator standing above the world. However, the Buddha himself never emphasized this idea. His goal was different. He sought to find a way to free people from suffering, here and now, in this very life. He considered questions about the origin of the universe or the existence of an absolute creator to be useless, not because he feared or denied them, but because they do not bring us closer to liberation. For Buddha, the main thing was not to discuss eternal disputes about the beginning of the world, but to provide a practical path leading to freedom from pain, greed, anger, and delusion. The Buddhist view, not denial, but another dimension. Over time, most schools of Buddhism developed a non-theistic worldview. This does not mean that Buddhists are atheists in the Western sense. In Buddhism, there are images of gods, heavenly beings, and spirits, but they are all understood more as symbols, as archetypes of certain states of consciousness and enlightened qualities, rather than as absolute creators. Herein lies a key difference. Buddhism does not deny the possibility of the existence of higher powers, but it asserts that human liberation does not depend on them. Why did Buddha take this step? The point is that his teaching is based on self-liberation. Buddha said that every person already has within themselves the wisdom and compassion necessary to break the chains of suffering. No one else, neither God nor a savior, can do this for you. He seemed to be saying, there is a hero sleeping inside you, waiting to be awakened. Free him, and you will find the answer. This is a revolutionary idea. It removes the familiar feeling of dependence and powerlessness in the face of higher powers. Instead, personal responsibility is placed on the individual. Your actions, your thoughts, your words are what shape your destiny. It is no coincidence that Buddha's last words were, "Be a lamp unto yourself." He urged people to rely not on the authority of others, but on their own experience and inner understanding. Buddhist teachings do not deny the laws of the universe. They merely shift the emphasis. While in other religious traditions people place their hope in the mercy of God or a higher power, Buddhism turns people to themselves. The principle here is more. Your actions are your future world. Buddha taught about karma, the universal law of cause and effect. This is not punishment or reward from a heavenly judge. It is a natural process. Every action, every thought, and every word creates certain consequences. We ourselves sow the seeds that will one day bear fruit, either in this life or in future lives. And no one is sitting over a ledger to record your mistakes and merits. It all works automatically, like the law of attraction. Karma and rebirth. Buddhists believe in rebirth. But this is also not related to an eternal soul created by someone from outside. According to Buddhist wisdom, there is no permanent I. The idea of anatta, not self, is one of the most profound and difficult to grasp. Buddha said that everything changes, nothing remains the same. Even what we call ourselves is a stream of impressions, emotions, memories, thoughts, and bodily sensations. There is no immovable and eternal essence within. This sounds unfamiliar and even frightening. But it is precisely this illusion of a fixed I that becomes the source of suffering. We cling to our image of ourselves, to our attachments, to our roles, and when the world changes, we feel pain. Liberation comes when we learn to let go of this clinging and see life as a flow. Practice instead of belief. Buddha never asked anyone to take his word for it. He did not call himself a deity and did not demand worship. He said, check everything for yourself. Experience it for yourself. That is why Buddhism focuses on practice, meditation, mindfulness, and conscious presence. These are methods that allow a person to observe their own mind, to see how desires, anger, and fears arise, and how they dissolve. This is the practice of truth. Don't argue about whether God exists. Instead, go inside yourself and find a direct experience of reality. Truth beyond words. And here we come to the main point. Buddhists believe that the highest truth cannot be described in words or encapsulated in dogma. It can only be understood through direct experience. Words are just pointers, symbols, but they do not replace the path itself. That is why Buddha often remained silent when asked about the origin of the universe or about God. He understood that arguing about who created the world would never free people from suffering. Buddhism invites us on a journey, not toward external dogmas, but within ourselves, to gain a deeper understanding of the essence of the Buddhist view. It is worth recalling a few stories from ancient texts. Once, a wandering ascetic approached a disciple of Buddha named Sariputta. He said, "You Buddhists do not believe in a creator God. Therefore, your path is incomplete." Sariputta replied, "Friend, even if there is a creator, that does not negate our path. We follow the Buddha's teachings not because someone told us to believe, but because we have tested them through our own experience. We have seen that this path leads to peace of mind and freedom from suffering." This answer reflects the essence of Buddhism. It is not based on blind faith. It is based on experience and verification by reality. The Kalam Sutta, a manifesto of freedom of thought. In the famous Kalam Sutta, the Buddha addressed the inhabitants of a city who were unsure whom to believe. Different teachers were saying different things, and he said to them, "Do not believe rumors. Do not believe traditions. Do not believe sacred books just because they are ancient. Do not believe logical constructions. Do not even believe the words of a teacher if they are not confirmed by your own experience. But if you see that something is useful, that it purifies the heart, reduces suffering, and leads to wisdom, accept it and follow it." These words can be called a true manifesto of spiritual freedom. Buddha seemed to break down boundaries. People are not obliged to obey authority. They can explore and test the truth for themselves. Why Buddhism is so different compared to other religions? Buddhism seems very unusual. It does not deny the existence of different deities and spirits, but it does not make them central. In the tradition, you can find images of heavenly beings, but they are not seen as absolute rulers of the world, but as symbols of certain qualities: wisdom, compassion, strength. The main focus is on people and their ability to awaken. Buddha taught that the seeds of wisdom and compassion already exist within each of us. We do not need an external savior who will come and solve all our problems. We ourselves can become a lamp for ourselves, a source of light on our path. What does this mean for us today? At first glance, this sounds too radical. After all, it is easier to shift responsibility to a higher power than to admit that everything depends on our actions. But this is precisely where liberation lies. When we understand that no one is holding us captive except our own illusions, we gain the key to inner freedom. Karma reminds us that every word we say and every action we take matters. Our relationships with loved ones, our habits, our thoughts, all of this shapes our tomorrow. Buddhism does not ask us to believe in dogma. It invites us to try it out. Meditate. Be mindful. Observe your mind. If this brings you peace and clarity, then you are on the right path. So why don't Buddhists believe in God in the usual sense? The answer is simple. Because they are not looking for an external master, but for inner truth. They do not argue about whether there is a creator or not. They say that it is not important for liberation. The main thing is to see the nature of the mind, understand the law of cause and effect, and learn to live in such a way as to not multiply suffering, but to cultivate wisdom and compassion. According to Buddha, the truth is always open to everyone, not in books or dogmas, but in the silence of one's own heart.